Everyone's silent tonight.
I was like, there's a moment of silence there for a second. I was like, oh, yeah, there you go. Guns in the 701, Clay, Vance, and Mike.
Hello, Mike, Clay.
I'm not in the dungeon anymore.
I see that. That sounds great. So as I was telling you guys, I'm going to let you do most of the talking. So everybody, you're welcome. I'm going to put up the Second Amendment if you want to take that.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the rights of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. There we go. So, and of course, Clay's got a rough voice. He's caught something down. I think he ate alligator liver. So, never eat the liver. Never eat the liver. But Clay didn't listen because that's the kind of guy he is. Yeah. But I was worried about you guys on the way back with the Christmas tree lights you had on that Dodge going off and on the way home. Yeah.
I got a new fuse for it today in town, and I think we figured it out. It definitely was in my system. I think it just popped the fuse because when we plugged it into Eric's pickup and he went home at, 3:30 in the morning from my place, it worked just fine. So,
yeah. Well, we got a lot to talk about today. Of course, there's a lot going on, and there's things popping up all over on the phones right now, as a matter of fact. I just saw that CNN has announced that Trump is off of the ballot in Illinois with the insurrectionist thing. So we'll wait and see. It's on pause until he can appeal, but just saw that come up. So
why is he off the ballot?
Insurrectionist clause.
Insurrectionist. No convictions.
No convictions. And it wasn't an insurrection. So
it was not. When did insurrectionists start having tour guides?
Yeah, no kidding. And it's just ridiculous that they're trying to even apply that. That was actually that whole part of the amendment. It was Amendment 14, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
It had to do with after the South had seceded, and that's what they were getting at. They wanted to ensure that nobody from the South, after they were remitted back into the Union, could rise up and do anything. And that's what in a nutshell, that's what that was about. That was not an insurrection, my goodness. Well, if it was an insurrection, we'd probably have a different president in there.
Yeah. Trump's attorney, Nicholas Nelson, described the event on January 6th as a political riot, comparing it to an angry mob rather than a group with a specific series of legal aims. So, but that's the way he's throwing it. But yeah, it's up for appeal now, so we'll wait to see what happens with that in Illinois. Of course, Illinois is its own silly animal, but
yeah, they got a lot of issues. And let's face it, even if he wasn't on the ballot, which I think is absurd, we don't win Illinois anyway. It's not like it's going to make or break the election. So,
right.
But we still can't let it happen.
No.
We can't let this happen. It's just the way it is. There's no charges, no convictions. There's charges, I guess, but there's no convictions. So it's just completely.
Charges don't make you guilty. Well, no. It didn't used to. It's starting to lean that way.
Hey, Jamie says you're hard to hear, Mike.
I am. Well, let me work on that and try to turn myself up here a little bit.
It ain't Mike. It's Token.
Token. That was Mitchell in the morning on KFYR came up with that. He says, since I'm in the 605, I should be the token guy for the 701.
There you go.
Trying to figure if I'm turning it up or down. Is that up? Oh, that's down. Okay, now I'm up.
Hey, Dan, good to see you on tonight. He's over there in that Dickinson, North Dakota area. We're glad to have him from the western edge of North Dakota. Jamie with 701 Nation. Eric, good to see you. Eric was on that trip with us. I think Eric had a great time. I should have had pictures ready, but it's been a very, very long day today for different reasons. And I did not get a chance to load any pictures from the hunt. But Eric was very fortunate to get up there, get the dogs on some hogs, and stab one again. So yeah, we got some great pictures and footage from that.
Stab.
One bad thing, and I know that Tyler talked about actually tuning in tonight, but I got to give a shout out to him and his buddy. Their dogs came along, but they did lose one dog. Looked like one of the hogs actually drowned it, and the other one got ripped pretty good up here by the neck. And our buddy Dave actually had a first aid kit that he made for us, but we ended up using it on that dog, throwing some blood clot in there, getting a pad on there, wrapping it, and we saved that dog's life. So
yep.
Got to tip my hat to Dave and Axe, and we got that taken care of. And Got it to the vet, got it stitched up, and Lucy is doing well.
Unfortunately, that's common with the hog dogs.
It
That's
is.
just part of what happens when you send dogs after 300-pound animals with razor blades in their mouth.
Yeah. Corey says he's loading his pipe. Guys, if you don't know what that means, it's a corn cob pipe that he bought.
That was a loaded comment there, Corey.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Well, we will explain that. Yes. So.
I figured he'd be too busy as much times as we flashed his number on there last week. I figured he'd still be fielding calls from women interested.
I'll tell you what, it was his phone was lighting up when we were.
Yeah, it was a busy phone. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, 605. No, I won't do it again. Hey, Lynette, where's my tan? I don't tan. I either burn or I'm a white boy to the core. So it's just.
I was looking for something to show Clay. I had something good, but I didn't get it loaded up in time to show Clay down there with the sombrero walking around. But yeah, I was. Gotta edit that.
Sombrero. Corey answered us.
No.
We won't say it.
That's okay. Well, he knows his audience. He knows who we are.
Yep. Dave, there's Dave, 1760 Sports. And again, can't thank our sponsors enough. Lauer Auto Repair and Double H Guns and 1760 Sports. We worked out a deal with Dave a while ago, but yeah, we're proud to sponsor him as well. So yeah,
my new mug.
Then you got your new mugs. Yeah, let's see your new mugs, guys. They're, now we're matching.
I know. I like that. So that's good. Yeah.
North Dakota, South Dakota, and Georgia. There you go. Hey, Keith, good to have you here. All right. Well, I'm going to let you guys run with this, and I'll jump in if you need me.
So I want to start off of we were talking last week. Was it last week, Vance, or the week before about the gun owners and credit cards?
Last
credit
week,
cards being. Yeah. So if this doesn't sound good, you guys let me know. Of course, wanting to buy ammo, wanting to buy whatever. Having problems with your places accepting your credit cards, or your credit cards not accepting transactions as well. Well, Georgia, Wyoming, and Kentucky have passed in their houses, at least this week, gun owner credit card data privacy bills. And of course, it prohibits the use of firearm ammunition specific merchant category codes. We talked about those codes by payment processors. And this is an important protection for gun owners, protecting private purchasing information from abuse by third parties. So it's one of what we were talking about last time, is at least 3 states, and I know there's some other ones. I think Louisiana was on this as well, and a few others. I don't remember seeing this in the South Dakota legislation, but Clay, you'll be able to tell me when they get moving around up in North Dakota what's going on there. But yeah, seems like it's one of those things that we should be doing and protecting.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we kind of touched on that last week a little bit, and it actually it stems from the world standing. Basically, there's these little codes they put on them, and they're the ones that were pushing it, because we should adhere to other nations' issues and social issues, right?
Right.
So I'm glad to see this. It doesn't surprise me with Wyoming. South Dakota, I'm not aware of having such legislation introduced. In North Dakota, of course, does not meet till next year. We only meet every other year. So.
Right, every other year.
I'm glad to see it in Georgia because, as I said last week, I know that there was recently Capital One denied an ammo purchase at Bass Pro Shops to a gentleman. And that's what I was told by my banker was that's common with Capital One.
Go figure. Which makes no sense since it's their credit card.
Right.
That's the credit card you get when you walk in every time. Hey, do you have your credit card, your Bass Pro credit card? Yeah. And they're like, and down that you can't buy stuff from there. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So at least there are some lawmakers that are putting some decent laws through. So there we go.
We're going to be seeing a whole lot more of this stuff with the gun control and stuff. It's an election year. You both know how this is going to go.
Right.
Yes, and you got to remember, this is not the first time Bass Pros had an issue selling to people. They were the first ones before anybody made any rules or any laws, or before the commie bipartisan act for safer communities. They were denying people under the age of 21 on their own. So, That should tell you a lot about their stance, and it's unfortunate to me.
Well, and like we talked about it last week, was this is they'll survive. They'll be like what's that? Camping World that turned into something that used to be something else, Gander Mountain or whatever that messed around. They did something else, and they went against the gun culture and everything else, and that's fine. Let them go. We don't need to do any business with them. But the one thing this will do is if they don't put these type of laws in there, small mom and pop stores and gun dealers, and how many times have you driven through small towns like Bowdle or wherever, Dickinson and all wherever, and stopped in a gas station and seen ammo and went, well, that's a good price for that, and bought it. It's going to stop them too. So we need to put these type of laws in there to stop that from happening.
Yeah. I prefer to shop at the mom and pop places. In fact, I'll even pay more to support a local business than I will the giant Bass Pro and.
I'm the same way. I don't like the big box stores. I'm getting to like them less because they will be the ones that will bend a knee just to stay in business or whatever the reason. They don't care, just so they can sell.
Is a fine example.
Yeah, and they're about bankrupt, and rightfully so. Right now, I'm going to go to places like Dave's 1760 Sports. I'm going to go to Double H Guns. I'm going to go to the little guys and make damn sure that's who I'm supporting. I'm done. I'm done with all of this. I'm going to try to do my best to not support those places. It's impossible to boycott them all the time, 100% every day. But when I can, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Well, and like here in South Dakota, I mean, I've got Double R Guns, which is just he's a local FFL guy, and he does good dealings with me, and he's looking for some stuff for me right now. And that's the thing is you got to support those guys because this is the type of thing that they're trying to legislate out of existence is the small guys. And that's going to put a huge cramp in you getting accessibility to the guns, the ammo, the parts, and everything you need. Because, the choke point will be when you can only go to, the Gander Mountain of places and they'll choke us off even more there. I mean, you'll be able. Here's your 22s that you're allotted for this month.
Right.
Good hunting.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's no, like I said, if people can avoid it, do it. Avoid it. That's what you need to do. So
here's your box.
Everybody, there you go. Yeah. I don't have all my ammo in this room yet, so I need to do it. So I got the new room, so I finally got the good sign up there.
I know, I've seen that. Looks good. We got you your ammo.
Yeah. I don't have it in this room, but I guess I could move it in this room. That'd be fine.
I don't have a hat. I don't have a sign. I don't.
You spent all week with him.
You're like the redheaded stepchild.
I know.
We'll get you taken care of. We'll definitely.
You're our southern cousin.
After traveling all the way across the South, I'm telling you, I'm convinced that most of the convenience stores are dirty and run down along with their roads. Holy cow.
They have the best food in those nasty convenience stores.
Hey, I did see the one that you and I ate at Vance a few years back. I saw that place. We just didn't have a chance to stop. I was like, hey, me and Vance stopped there. That's really good stuff. Guys, big old smoker outside. You can't go wrong, right?
Oh, no. You put that much work into it. It's got to be good.
Eric, there's no cheeseburgers there, so they don't want you.
That's all he wanted was cheeseburgers, huh? So
no, actually,
it was to a barbecue joint, and there was a cheeseburger place across the street. Eric was tempted to go there.
Yeah, that was right across from Jim Neely's Interstate Barbecue. I'm telling you, that place looked like a dive. Oh, there you go, JD. He says, hang a deer head behind you.
The full mounts are in the living room.
Boiled peanuts. Yes, Gene, we've seen them. I still don't get it. I tried them. Not impressed. Maybe I
love them.
I lived in the South long enough, but it just never that and grits never applied to me.
Love them both.
No, I've had grits. I like grits. But this time, We did not eat at a Waffle House this trip, so
What?
Oh,
Then you did not visit the South.
but we had some good barbecue. And hey, guys, I know we're getting off subject here, but I'm telling you, man, they took one of them wild pigs and they did a whole pig and put it on the smoker. And I tell you what, fantastic. I believe it was Vance and his boy and was it Nick?
Nick.
Was that his name?
Yeah, Nick and John and
Oh, that was good stuff.
yeah,
You wouldn't have
we
known that
smoked
was a
it
wild
for
pig.
about 12 hours.
Yep,
Mm.
it was
Over 14
fantastic.
Yeah.
So if people tell you it's not good, they're full of it, because that right there was as good as anything I've eaten as far as domesticated, pig.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All them hogs this week,
They were
for
good.
people that aren't familiar with hog hunting, they stink. Big old
Generally.
nasty boar hogs, they will stink, and that's when they're really gamey. And you generally don't eat those. We throw them to the alligators, to be honest.
Mhm.
But not one hog that we killed this week stunk, and all of the meat was fantastic.
Yeah.
It really was.
In fact, one of the guys got a 300-pound bar hog, and that meat was amazing. It was really good. In fact, we rendered a bunch of the fat and we cooked with it.
Oh, excellent.
That's right. Hawk was up there, our host, Chris Hawk, and he was rendering that. And that's what we used to cook with. Oh, guys, I'm telling you. We ate very well while we were down there.
Yeah, we
always
eat
do.
good. Always eat good.
We didn't get no ribeyes of the sky this time, but that's okay. And I'm
was-
not going to explain that one to anybody.
No.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Speaking about eating and everything like that, I did have one thing for you guys that I found it was popping around across the web, and I know Vance is friends with all these guys online too. PETA is got another one out, but so if you
Yeah.
haven't seen this one pop up on your screen, what wouldn't you drink? Dog's milk, rat's milk, or armadillo milk? Well, we did find out through our extensive research department, otherwise known as Clay, that armadillos don't have milk.
That's what it. That's what it appeared to be anyway. Yeah.
That's what it appears. But yeah, so once again, they're hard at work behind their keyboards, trying to nab everybody. Vance was kind of accosted online by a few of them, I think, here recently. So
It happens all the time. We get hit on the Racks page all the time.
right,
And I'm friends with Tess Talley, and anything I post with Tess, I immediately start getting hit with PETA people and the antis. But recently, my boss, one of my bosses, she texted me a screenshot of, I think it's Vegans Are Forever, Vegans for Life. I don't know, some page. They went on my company's Facebook page on the reviews part and wrote Vance Bishop is a sick psycho
Oh, nice.
on my
nice.
company's page.
So what did they say wrong about you?
What they say that was negative.
Negative. I mean,
But my boss just thought it was funny and laughed it off. None of them cared, but because they get it. But yeah, PETA is very friendly or very fond of me and the rest of us hunters out there.
yeah, I get that too. When we're
I usually
posting
offer
our-
my address and say, if you can breach my property, you can have me.
Yeah. Well, if they had the strength to breach your property, that'd be the thing. They don't need enough protein, so.
Most of them are from some country that don't even allow them to have guns.
Oh well, yeah. Is that Canada now? What is it?
So Lynette, she's chiming in here. She says you're sounding a little under the weather. I feel fine, Lynette. That's just my voice. But Axe is finally feeling good. Yeah, I heard Axe wasn't feeling that great. It must have been the airplane he rode down there and back. Gotta be, right?
Yeah. All
He
that
had a great
recycled
time.
air.
That must
All that
be it.
recycled air. Yeah, there.
I know that he had a great time down there. So, and Lynette also says my pastor is so excited about wild hog. He requested it when I told him that Doug was going on a hunt. So yeah, I know. I think Doug got his. I think we sent it home with Dave. So hopefully he picked it up and
Yeah.
can enjoy a nice pig meal.
We're gonna smoke some this weekend. Clifford shot
Yeah.
one, and we're gonna be smoking some this weekend.
Perfect.
Well, we're about 22 minutes in. We want to go ahead and talk to our sponsors here real quick. And
Yeah, let's go
Okay.
ahead and thank our sponsors, and we'll come back and try to not be so boring.
well, there we go.
All right.
There's always good to have goals.
Yes.
Auto Repair, located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at
701-258-6308. The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck, Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308. 701-258-6308. Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
All right. Yes. Again, thanks to Lauer Auto Repair. Great sponsor. And, of course, Axe went along with us on this hunt. He's one of the owners there. So we were glad to have him along. I think he had a great time. He didn't smack down no pigs, but he definitely had some fun. And we did a few other things. We made it. He had a great time. I'll just leave it at that.
That's always
good thing you had somebody with his repair skills there while you were there. That's the thing.
You know, we put him to work on the buggy for a while. Him and Dave, they tackled it. Kind of got it going for a while, but conclusion is it needs a carburetor, plain and simple. Get a carburetor for it, we'll be golden. But we got everything else working. The lights, we changed the oil. Probably not good when you see water, gas, and oil in your oil pan.
I'm pretty sure there's some pee coming out of there too.
So yeah. Anyway, we had a great time while we were down there. There's no doubt.
By the way, before we get on, I got a thing about the enhanced concealed carry bill here in South Dakota.
Oh, yeah.
But before we do that, we, of course, report on the border. We talk about that. The latest that's come out here is this came out of Monmouth University poll this year, or just a little while ago. And the thing you got to look at this is that even the libs and the independents are moving up on their opinion on this. Legal immigration is a very serious problem. The border is so porous that it is just coming through, and they've got to stop with the games and start coming up with a plan to actually do something about it. So that's one of the things we've talked about plenty of times here as well. It's like, come through legally. I've got documentation of my family coming over, legally. Everybody else can come over legally as well. Some of my family back in the day coming across weren't exactly like, we weren't Mayflower groups, that's for sure. But, they came across and they made their way and they paid their dues. And that's what we're asking. That's what we're asking for this as well. Not just come over here and just ask for something free and give me a bus fare to go somewhere else. We've got to make it a process once again. And if they've got to build on the other side of the border, processing places and whatnot, let's do that. Why even let them come across? And let's stick them on the other side and let, I hate to say an old phrase, let Mexico pay for it.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm absolutely not against people coming here. I'm just saying use the door. That's it. Just do it properly. I appreciate other cultures. I enjoy learning other cultures. I enjoy learning different aspects of life, that how people live in different countries and things like that. But use the door.
Well, like I've talked many times about Guatemala. Guatemala has two things. It has gangs and it has volcanoes. And really, that's all they've got. And they're all going off at any time. So, hey, I can understand why you want to get out of there. But, when you've got people that are spending $8,000, $10,000, $20,000 to pay coyotes to bring them over, we're not talking about small amount of money. And that's just on parts of the trip. There's a lot of, excuse me, but I think I could figure out a way to take an airplane flight, and be a little better than instead of walking half the country, with that much money. But it's just what silliness is of it is that we just let everybody walk across and, we need migrant workers in the fields and whatnot and different things in this country, because that's the way our corporate world is set up right now to do canning and to do all the farming and this and that. It's been set up like that for longer than we've been a country. But we got to figure out a way to make some vetting processes in there as well. So I mean, it's one of those things that needs to happen.
Well, you're going to be surprised, but maybe not. I want the entire country immigration shut down for 5 years. We don't need anybody else. We've done it before. We have got to get a handle on what we got happening right now, and you can't do that if there's anybody coming over. So shut it down. And unless you can show that you have a skill that we absolutely need. Now, and we've done this. Shut it down. Close it completely. We're not taking anybody else until we get this solved.
Let me tell you, I don't know if you know this,
we have
but
enough problems internally to deal with without adding to them by bringing other people in that, just bringing problems in with them. I would totally agree.
Well, let's talk about our Canadian friends for a moment. Do you know that in order to get a job in Canada, that job has to be offered to a Canadian first before you're allowed to get that job? They have to offer it to Canadians first. Nobody's claiming they're being racist or anything else like that. I mean, to me, it makes sense. And when you go up there, you don't get automatic citizenship. You have to go up there, apply for a visa, go up and work that job and work for how many years you have to work if you want it to become a Canadian. So what's the difference between our northern border and our southern border, where we just let anybody walk on over?
Oh, I agree. It's like I said, until we get that handled, and it does relate to the Second Amendment in a big way. For one, the drugs coming across, but the guns that are coming across, who knows what's coming across, who has them, where they're headed. And when you see all these illegals coming in and they're being interviewed, they're going all over the country. So it's a wreck.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, real quick, I want to go ahead and jump on this. If anybody has got anything else, of course, South Dakota, we've got the enhanced carry or concealed carry bill passed in the committee. The bill allows gun owners with enhanced concealed carry permits and a written permission by the school's principal to conceal carry on the public school grounds. Now, that might be asking, oh, yeah, you got it up there.
Brought it up, yeah.
There you go. So, of course, they're asking for you to call your representatives and tell them you support SB 203 with no amendments by, of course, taking action. And, of course, that's one of the things going on right now in South Dakota. And like I said, Clay, you guys will have yours going up next year, probably. And I know this also clears the way for the problems that they have. When and the NRA was pushing the SHIELD program for schools and whatnot, I don't think they had programs like this or laws like this on the books so that technically, I mean, I guess you're trained and everything else to be able to come onto a school campus as a teacher. But unless you have the permission and everything else from hopefully from a principal that knows that you've been trained, they could ding you on that one. So this is just one of those things that dots the I's and crosses the T's for the SHIELD program from the NRA.
Yeah, and it's a little bit different. You're actually not having to seek any kind of permission from the board, which could be problematic, as we're seeing in both North and South Dakota with the laws we have passed. It comes from the principal of the school or other person who has a general control, which would probably be in some schools the superintendent.
Right.
Could be head of security. Who knows what that might be. So it does actually do that. I like this idea. It's another stepping stone. I don't believe in gun-free zones, especially around schools. They don't work. But obviously, they're working great, aren't they?
Right.
Just because there's a law against it doesn't mean anything. How will this interfere with federal law? I don't know. But the feds really shouldn't have any say over it to begin with. So.
Right. Well, I mean, it's one of those things that you really, like I said, it's a stepping stone. And it's what it is exactly. It's one more thing for clarification. So
absolutely.
I think it's one of the important things. Ooh, I'm so big.
There we go.
There we go.
We'll get it back here.
That's right. There we
I'm
go.
putting mine. There you go. You're on top.
Now I can point to this and tell everybody, make sure you go up here if you want to donate money to Guns in the 701. There we go. There we go.
There you go. There. Up there.
Up there. But also, it's good to see these things passing through. I see a lot of junk that's going through. We talked last week on Mitchell in the Morning for KFYR about the ban they're trying to do over in Minnesota, which includes 22s as well. And, and like they said, they're going to try to ding us everywhere they can on the Second Amendment. They're going to try to take away parts. They're going to take away ammo. They're going to take away, the permission to carry, this and that. Soon, I'm sure they'll be shooting on your or hitting on your the fact that you can't carry them in your car and on and on. And we've talked about that in South Dakota as well. It's like, Clay, they slid that one by where you can't have it on your motorcycle. I used to drive a Goldwing, which had all those containers and whatnot in it, in your saddlebags, and I can't, I wanted to drive up one time to see you guys, and I couldn't load up my my guns into the saddlebags because technically it's against the law, which is ridiculous.
It is very ridiculous. It's one of them oversights that needs to be corrected.
And we know as Dakotans that that's because of Sturgis. It was put there specifically for the law because they wanted to try to clamp down on Sturgis as much as they can. And, that's working out for them.
Yeah, working real good too, isn't it?
Because the Hells Angels and Outlaws, they care about laws.
No, yeah, all the time. I like how Lynette says, what about the Chinese nationals coming? Oh, they're coming.
And I've seen more and more pictures on that too. Yeah, you're right.
Sorry, guys. I'm looking. I can't talk a whole lot, so I'm looking at a lot of stuff here.
That's fine. Well, Lynette said we are all immigrants, but we are here illegally. That's true. It's true. We are. And we are. We're found in a mixing pot, a melting pot of personalities and people. And that's what America is supposed to be. And it's not what we're being right now, but that's what we're supposed to be.
Well, we're descendants of immigrants. I'm not an immigrant. I was born here.
Oh yeah.
Red, white, and blue to the core. Then that's the difference. I mean, plain and simple.
Yeah.
Do we come from? Yeah, my it would have been my great grandfather actually on my mom's side actually came here from Norway. So we really haven't been in the country that long. But yes, on my dad's side, it goes back several generations there of German heritage. So they've been here a long time. But yeah, on my grandpa's side or on my mom's side, yeah, you think about that. My great grandfather, that is not that far removed, really.
No, it's really not.
No, and I've got a bunch in there as well. I mean, it goes over to the Welsh side, of course, and the Ishmaels, part of my family, and then the Deacons were kind of the British ones that came in. And
oh, you Brits!
Yeah, there you go. So it's one of those. I always used to tell everybody that I was Irish and German, and it means I want to take over the world, but I was too drunk to do it. So
Irish and English.
Yeah.
What's the old saying that the Scots and the Irish beer was invented to keep them from ruling the world?
That's true. That's true.
Anyway, so yeah, I guess as far as it goes with gun legislation, I'm telling you right now that right now North Dakota, we've got a lot of things we want to bring up in the next session. South Dakota's got a couple things in there. I mean, they even got one that deals with colors that you can wear now. What I was reading, I believe it has to do with fluorescent pink. So they're going to allow that now to be the same as fluorescent orange. So you'll have that choice. So, hey, you can go ahead and knock yourself out, Mike. Just get yourself a pink vest and
hey, you know what? I'm in touch with my sexuality. I'm all right with it. So it's
tough enough to go pink, right?
Yeah, I can do that. I mean, I've done enough. How many NRA auctions have we had pink guns to auction?
Oh, yeah.
I'm totally good with it. So we can do it with no problem.
If we were still doing banquets, we could have a whole package deal and include this, to celebrate the new law. We could have a lot of fun with that. Corey says Nathaniel Merriman, 1632. So this family's been here a lot longer than ours.
Mine was Absalom Deacons.
That's a long time.
Yeah, 1700s for me, Absalom Deacons.
Yeah, I haven't been here near that long, so.
Mine's Joseph Bishop, and it's in the mid 1700s, I think.
Yeah.
I haven't been here that long, or our families haven't. But
Tracy's is she's only one generation removed. Her grandparents were from Italy.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. She grew up with them arguing and fussing in the house in Italian.
In Italian.
And Clay, I think your dad's old enough to have come from Mesopotamia.
Well, he's definitely from a different planet sometimes with his liberal views. Don't worry, I've told him that, so it's okay. All right. Well, I guess I don't have anything else to add. There's a lot of legislation going on in a lot of different states. I think I've seen, I don't remember the state. Was it Ohio now? They signed some concealed carry bills. I mean, there's been a lot out there, but it hasn't gotten a lot of fanfare with the election year going on. The whole news cycle is occupied with Trump and Haley, and right now you're just not hearing about it unless you'll search it out. So.
Well, and we talked about my mixed marriage with my wife, and of course, she is talking about running for city council here. So, it's one of those things where, if you don't step up and do something, I mean, maybe I have to run up against her. I don't know, but
Yeah, I mean, we can't have that. We definitely can't have that.
Don't send that text, Mike.
Yeah.
Don't put that yard sign up, Mike.
Nope.
Yes, that's definitely problematic.
Definitely.
I
see you got some pictures posted.
I've been working. That's what I've been working on. So I guess why don't we go through some of them? All right here. Here's a couple of hogs that were they're in. I think that's in the back of your pickup, isn't it, Vance? I believe they were.
I think so. Yeah, it is. Yes,
they're tied up. Those were caught, but trust me, they still got skinned out and put in the freezer, so they're good eaters. Here's a trophy hog.
Yeah.
That's a little pig. I'm telling you guys, it was pretty cool. That one was shot with a pistol off of an airboat.
Yeah. Stokely from Maine shot that one.
Doesn't get much cooler than that. There's a picture of the airboat.
Wait a minute. I've got a good idea for you real quick. Take it back to Vance in that picture real quick. And let me Vance, here's what you can do. And this is a money-making idea. You skin him out and make him as a cover, like a neoprene cover for your scope. That would look so good.
We called that one the sandwich pig.
They're probably really good eating, but they need to be a little bit bigger than that.
A little bit
bigger. Well, it was coming right at him.
Here's one that we're having fun with.
That's awesome.
That's off the buggy. My buddy Chris Johnson was down there, and I haven't seen him in a while. He's from Wyoming. Yeah, he lives in Florida now. He was, about 5 hours away?
Yeah, it was good
so
to have
he come down. Him and Corey did a little fishing. That's Corey there sitting there at the pistol, whaling, right there with the rifle heading out the side, and then I'm over on the other side with the 30-30. We're all Rack's Adventure team members, along with Mike. Mike's one of us, too. So, I mean, we had a lot of guys there from a lot of states show up at this hunt. Here we got David, Eric, and Axe. Eric's one of our great members as well of Rack's Adventure Team. He's also a taxidermist with Grizz's Taxidermy, and he treats everybody right. And I'm telling you guys, you want to get some good work done, talk to him.
Awesome.
This was our host, Chris Hawk. And we gave him a little bit of a gift there. That's self-explanatory. So I'm sure he'll probably put that out there for target practice. Did get a picture of a gator right there. He was a little ways out there, but they're there, guys. I mean, it's not real.
We saw a lot of them this year. It got warm, and that's when they come out and start bedding.
Yes. We had 2 days of rain when we got there, and so it was really kind of chilly and rainy, and nothing was moving. Boy, that next day when it warmed up, the hogs were moving, the gators were coming out, and it was a lot of fun.
Saturday and Sunday was rainy and chilly. The rest of the week was beautiful.
Here's Corey with his hog.
Yep.
So
I was right behind the barn.
Yes, it was.
What were you guys shooting? Most of you guys shooting with for the hogs?
ARs mostly.
So, like David, he had a 458. I think Waylon was using a 400 Legend.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what he had. I think you were using an AR when you took one out, wasn't it?
I didn't shoot. I hardly ever shoot on these hunts. I always guide people, but I do carry an AR. 300 Blackout is what I normally carry.
Yep.
My son and Nick were both carrying ARs 5.56.
I didn't even take an AR this time myself.
Yeah, and both the boys, Clifford, my youngest boy, and his buddy, they were both carrying ARs.
Yeah, and it it varied. I know the guys up in Vermont were using some ARs. I was using a 30-30. If I was going to shoot one, I wanted to do it with the 30-30 this time, so that's why I took it along and
Right.
did not
Growing
get
up
the
hunting them,
opportunity.
that's what I killed them with mostly was a 30-30.
Yeah, it's just a nice little compact gun just for that.
It's a fun gun to shoot too. Of
I
all
know-
of our fancy guns that this group has, a 30-30 is still one of my favorite guns to shoot.
Yeah.
Like Corey said, Corey was carrying his 350 Legend. We had some of them last time when we were down there as well. I did have my Swift and my 6.5 along, but I didn't even take them out of the cases. I carried the 30-30, and I kind of made a decision if I was going to get one, that's what I was going to do it with. And I had my pistol, so you know what? If I'd have got the opportunity, I'd have shot one with a pistol. I really wanted to stab one, but I was not willing to go over waist high in that damn swamp water. So I did not make it over there to that pig to stab him. Eric did. We did. There was another one the dogs brought down, but we never got to him. You seen that picture of Eric and David and Axe. We were walking through that swamp, probably knee high a lot of times, and we just couldn't get over there, so we didn't get that one. But next time, it ain't like I won't be going back.
Yeah, that's true.
One guy that was with us, Nick, that came down with my son from Tennessee, got one with a bow.
There you go.
Down at Jason's place, he set
Yeah,
up
I think I
at
remember
night.
that.
He got one with a bow.
So that's pretty cool.
I always admire that, especially you guys that are out there antelope hunting with bows, and then you talking about moving up to elk and whatnot. It's just amazing. As a bad shot as I am, that is just amazing that you can do it with a bow still. I mean, I know it's been done, in the old days and everything like that. That's why I like the 30-30 myself, especially like we talked about when we go out to somewhere like the hills or somewhere more wooded. It's a great gun without iron sights or just iron sights. But it's amazing when I see people do that with a bow.
Yeah. Well, tell you what, let's take a quick break.
Okay.
And then when we come back, we can talk a little bit more about the hog hunt. That kind of seems like where we're at. So we'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more of it, and then we'll move along. But let's take a little break. Thanks some sponsors, and we'll see you on the flip side.
Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake.
Make no mistake.
Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Discover the world of firearms at Bismarck's Double H Gun Shop. With a wide range of products from handguns to rifles, we cater to all your shooting needs. We are your local gun experts. Not only do we sell firearms, reloading supplies, targets, and whatever your heart desires, but we also have a ton of knowledge and answers.
We shoot, we hunt, we compete, we reload.
It's been the Howard's way since 1976, and we ain't fixing to change anything. Visit our website at hhgunshop.com to browse our inventory. Double H Gun Shop, Bismarck's best new and used firearm reloading supply, gunsmithing, and sporting goods store. Double H Guns.
Double H Guns.
1021 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota. Call 701-223-4888.
All right. Now we're messing around with our phones here now, sharing pictures. So,
I see that.
I'll put a couple here. So here's one. This is we had the dogs. You can see Eric and Dave in there, and Axe, and that's what we had, dogs riding on top and in the back. So and that baby was going through some deep water, but they turned them dogs loose, and then they've got their little locators on them, and I'm telling you, they go after them and they get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
Corey and Chris caught some crabs. I'll just leave it at that. For those of you on the podcast, go watch the video. You'll see what we're talking about. They went out and did a little fishing and had some crabs. There's Axe. He's doing his job. Look at that. The transmission had a problem. So they were trying to get the gears unstuck, and they did. We got all the gears working again. So, and here I am with Chris, like I said, a good friend of mine. I've known him since college. So he noticed something, though. Chris says, hey, I think I'm bigger than you for the first time ever. I think you're right. I think he's right. And there's Axe again. Like I said, hey, he's a mechanic. He's a great mechanic. And it's like he couldn't leave it alone. So
it's like the A team. You got to have somebody with individual skills all the way down the line. So there you go.
Your head's got to fix stuff. When there's something broken, they're going to fix it. And he did.
That's right. And he did. He did a heck of a good job. Like I said, it was a great hunt. I think in 2 years, we're talking maybe, which is a little sooner than we usually go. It's going to be 10 years that we've been doing this, basically since we started this whole thing.
Yeah.
So we might try to get down there, some of us for sure. I'm going to try this summer to fly down and do a little work. We got a project now where a bunch of us bunked. We're like, hey, we need to turn this into the bunkhouse. And I think that's one of the things we're going to do. But what do we have down there, Vance? I didn't got 15, 13. I don't even know how many people.
I think there was, with Chris and myself, there was 15.
Yeah, I mean, we had a good crowd down there. We really did.
Yeah, it was a great trip. This is one of the better trips, actually, that we've had. We've had a big group before a few years ago. I think the last one were Rax, the Vermont guys, Dakota guys, John and Tom. We had 13 or 14 a few years ago.
Yeah.
But it was a good group. And we had a lot of guests this year. Not just Rax members, but we had a lot of guests, and it was a lot of fun.
It was. I thought everybody did well. That's the most hogs we've ever had taken too.
Yeah, I heard. Now, Eric made a mention here real quick, and I think it needs to be talked about that we need to be sponsored by CPAP people for our trips. So,
did he explain why?
apparently, but no.
He says, and a snore-proof room. Yeah, I guess Corey and we were in symphony quite often. Back and forth. So it was like one big constant snore.
Oh, yeah. The sounds of nature.
It happens.
All right. Corey's getting ready to leave, so we're going to go ahead and start posting his number again.
Yes.
There we go. We let everyone know that he's a single and available. No.
Well, he's doing extra fire drills tonight, so
he's a
fireman.
Ladies.
Like I said last week, I hear he's good with the hose. He's good with a hose. So.
He's a fireman, ladies. You'll see him on a calendar soon.
Oh, my goodness.
Before he goes real quick, by the way, I found this, and I'm going to see if I can get it to play, but I think this girl is going to be my spirit animal. Let's see if I can get this to work real quick. Hold on a second. Let me get this work.
There. Want help?
Hold on. Let me see.
Guys, we're kind of just winging it tonight if you haven't figured that out.
Did you see that? What she said? Yeah. All right.
No, here.
Play it again.
Go ahead. Play it again. Oh, the video's not coming through.
Are you
or the audio.
Oh, you guys don't have the audio?
No.
Oh, she says, she's asked, are you going to be part of the solution or part of the problem? And the little girl goes, I'm going to be the whole problem.
Good answer.
She's my spirit animal now.
That would be the whole
I have to figure out how to get that to work. So, yeah, I was trying to download that for the computer, but yeah. That's what I do all day. I'm in radio. I sit around and look at memes all day.
Clay, you sent me, I think you sent it to Mike too, about Virginia. I'm gonna turn the corner here.
Yep.
I read about the Virginia gun laws, but what got me in there more than anything, because I'm used to seeing the gun law attacks. What I'm not used to seeing is, what was it called? The Virginia Alcoholic Beverage Control Authority?
Yeah, you gotta love that one, don't you?
What is that? I've never heard of such a thing. I mean, I've heard of alcohol, tobacco, and firearms and explosives and, snuffleupagus. But I've never heard of such a thing. They have something that controls alcoholic beverages in the state of Virginia?
Yeah.
I guess so. I've never heard of anything like that. It's a new one to me. It doesn't surprise me. Virginia's been, they're back and forth. They're not the conservative state everyone thinks they are.
No.
They flip back and forth. They go, they're purple, I guess is the term they like to use. But I'm not impressed with Virginia as far as some of the things they've done in the later years. But as if with any, you got way too many people had moved into that state, especially being that close.
You've got everybody that works
DC.
in DC goes down to Virginia. So
Absolutely.
come on, and surrounding. Anyway, that law, by the way, carrying a concealed handgun on the premises of a restaurant, the penalty makes it a Class 2 misdemeanor for any person except for an active or qualified retired law enforcement officer to carry a concealed handgun on the premises of a restaurant or club which has a license to sell and serve alcohol beverages on premises consumption. It's been granted by the Virginia Alcohol Beverage Control Authority. So they want to, and I know that we've got that same law up here in the Dakotas, correct? If I'm wrong?
No, basically what ours is you can carry concealed in any establishment like a bar and grill. But what the law says on it is if the revenues are 51% or more, other than alcohol, you may carry. If they're actually 51% or more alcohol sales, then you cannot carry because that's considered just a bar. And that's basically, and I went to, when I was in Rapid City and I was a rep, I went through this with the Longhorn Steakhouse because they were citing that it was the law that we couldn't carry. Well, it wasn't true.
Right.
And I did win that. Next time I was in there, there was a sign of alcohol affects pregnancy rather than you can't carry guns in here. So Darko owns Longhorn and Red Lobster and a whole bunch of these restaurants. I couldn't believe it when the actual CEO called me. I got all the way to the CEO, had a great conversation, and he said, we were listening to our lawyers. And I said, well, that's your problem. You shouldn't do that. You should actually check the law. Don't worry about your lawyers say. And he corrected it, and we all went on.
Yeah, that's the way it needs to be done sometimes.
And, there's mistakes that happen. He was misinformed.
Mm-hmm.
And when
he corrected
was properly informed, he fixed it. Good for
That's
them.
what I like. That's what I like.
Good for him. That's what I say. Yeah. Anyway, so they want to change that there, and of course, I'm sure these are just on board with all the different things that they're trying to slowly chip away at all the concealed. Every time we get an advancement with a concealed carry thing, they try to throw something in there to make it more of a hassle. It's a nonstop barrage of legalities, and it's nonstop, and it muddies the water. We've talked about that many times. I think Vance has as well. And, all these laws that we have, and of course we don't enforce the ones we should, and we do enforce ones that are arbitrary. And then we just muddy the waters left and right, where the normal citizen doesn't even know what most of the laws are in their state. I mean, and this is not against Clay, but Clay didn't know about, I don't think you knew about that thing with the motorcycles until I brought it up a few years ago. Did you, or did you know about it?
I didn't. I guess I hadn't paid attention to that or had a reason to check it out. So no, I really didn't know. So and that's okay. I'm glad people bring it up when stuff like that happens because that's how things get changed.
Well, you were the NRA rep. If I figure if I could, if I call somebody for information, that's the guy I'm going to call. So yeah, it's just it's amazing
Here's that Virginia law, guys, or the basically what it's Senate Bill number 57. And basically what they want to do is, like it says here, relating to carrying a concealed handgun on the premise of any restaurant, they want to make it a penalty. And what they change in section B is it says, it used to say no person who carries a concealed handgun. So what it's going to say is no person shall carry a concealed handgun onto the premise of any restaurant or club is defined, and they got this whole thing. They also strike number 1, which says may consume alcoholic beverage while on the premise. A person who carries a concealed handgun onto the premise of such a restaurant or club and consumes alcohol beverage is guilty. Well, they want to strike that. And by doing that, it don't matter if you're consuming or not. Now it's just illegal.
Right.
So yeah, they're striking 2 things, which now makes it illegal for everybody to carry a concealed handgun into a restaurant, which is stupid. Why not? Why not? Why create another soft target zone? And that's what they're doing. Okay, hey, Dan chimed in here. I figured Dan would.
There you go.
North Dakota allows carry if someone under 21 years of age can be there. Those places are what Clay said. Restaurants that sell alcohol, but more than 50%. So, yeah, there we go.
Well, and I think a lot of that too. I mean, if you think about places that sell alcohol that have video lottery and on, different things like that here in South Dakota. So, I mean, I think sometimes the food and the video lottery accounts for more than 51% of the sales that they do. So that's where,
Right.
places like, how are you supposed to know that most of the time? That's the problem. It's just one of those things that's left up to this.
Well, it's safe to assume, and I'll break it down how I used to in South Dakota. It's safe to assume that a place, say like a Texas Roadhouse, more than 51% of their sales are food.
Right.
That's just it's a reality. If you made them pull the numbers, I'm sure it would prove that way. Now, if you go to a little bar and grill, say right here in Morristown, it's questionable.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of off sale sales there, and it's all out of the same building. So, you know what? That could be iffy, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
The second
So
part
how
of that
do you
is it would be up to the state to prove it. So, if you go into a place and someone decides, oh, I'm going to arrest them for this. All right. Now, the burden of proof, you're always innocent till proven guilty. Burden of proof's on the state to prove that you were guilty. So you might not have that take place so much, especially on an iffy call, because they won't know. But who knows?
Right.
Depends on where you're at, too.
True.
But yeah, that's kind of where they're at on that. Virginia, get your head out of your butt. And I hope that if this does pass, well, you got something going on up there, don't you, Mike?
Apparently, I just discovered that I am downstairs from the bathroom.
So anyway, I'm hoping that Youngkin will veto this if it comes across his desk, but we shall see. We shall see.
Okay,
We lost.
a little better now.
So Dave chimes in. He says, I might be mistaken, but at one point, North Dakota had a concealed carry law that you couldn't carry and sit in the bar side of a restaurant. Well, I think that goes back to what Dan had just talked about with if they're under 21 years of age and they're allowed in there, and then it goes on that 51% threshold. I believe that's what it is. We will get an answer for that, though. I will look that up before next week. I want to know that myself. Right. All right, well, then I'm going to just go in there. I'm going to jump in here at the next one. As we all know, I'm sure everybody saw the ruling that came out of New York against Wayne LaPiere. You guys familiar with that?
Yeah.
Essentially, that crazy woman, Letitia James, who, same person that's going after Trump, and it's all political. It really is. Well, they went after the NRA, specifically Wayne LaPiere. And they found him in this case that he was liable for about $5 million in bad expenses, I guess you'd call them.
Yeah.
And I know some of the stuff that was brought into that case, you and I have talked about it. All of us have talked about that at different times as to why things were done. And some of them were the private flights. Well, and I get it. Wayne LaPiere was probably one of the most threatened people in the United States. And he really couldn't fly commercial anymore. So, yes.
Still being.
Yeah. And so private jets were chartered, and it was an understood expense because there was no other way for him to travel. Fancy suits. Well, it really wasn't a thing that was taking place often. He actually landed in California. His luggage didn't make it. That's when he was still flying commercial. Guys, that was over 15 or 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And the only place open, they ran down and got him a nice suit and got it for him. And, it was expensive. But I'm guessing I would want the head of the NRA to look pretty good when he gives a speech as well. And he didn't have a lot of choice. So, there was an expense.
If the president of the United States walks out in the khaki shorts and, his Florida shirt, I'm going to be a little bit hesitant to take what he has to say seriously unless he's on a golf course.
Or how can you take that guy from Pennsylvania?
Where's a
Carhartt hoodie?
Fetterman, you're right.
Yeah,
well, it's there's no excuse just because you're a big guy and things don't fit you. You just got $176,000 a year.
Hey, go have some suits made.
Go have suits made. That's the first thing I'd do. I mean,
and I'm going to go. I'm going to go a little more on this. So part of this is they said, well, LaPiere, he's already paid back like $1 million. Well, he paid back $1 million because of things that we were just talking about. Things like that suit, he did reimburse NRA for. I mean, I'm talking. They went back 15 and 20 years looking at and just minute things. Now I don't know what else happened. I haven't been there for many years. I retired in 2016. But Wayne LaPiere, as you all know, I thought he should have retired. About then. Remember?
Yeah.
I said it many times that I think it was time for him to retire and pass the torch. He didn't till recently. Did he do bad? I don't know. I need to read the entire case and see what was brought forth, and I haven't done that. I'm not going to worry about the media saying because they wanted to destroy the NRA. Letitia James said she wanted to destroy the NRA, call them a terrorist organization. So I imagine it'll be appealed. What'll come out of it, I don't know. You never know when an appellate court's got to go to the New York State Appeals Court and work its way out of New York.
Right.
The whole intent of this was to destroy the NRA, which they did not accomplish. They wanted to actually dissolve it. Yes, it is.
I'm sure being in such a high position of authority in the NRA, he probably took some liberties that he shouldn't have, just being honest. But we know that probably 80% of this is a witch hunt. It's in an election year. They want to destroy the NRA. They have wanted to for years. And some of the wrongdoings that he was caught in makes him an easy target.
Well, absolutely. Now, also named in this was Wilson. Woody Phillips, I actually knew who he was. He was ordered a reimbursements of $2 million. I couldn't tell you why. I know that he was an attorney there as well as the chief financial guy. I thought he was doing a good job, and he had a pretty sharp pencil. But I don't know. Like I said, I'd have to read that entire case to see what they found.
Well, I would
and
think
see
that
how
he
much
was-
of it's actually legit.
I would say it was probably the same things as LaPiere, plane flights and everything else, because the NRA, you have to think about your safety and going on regular flights. Yeah, it's not always an option. And they're posting people's and doxing people's names and images out there to all their crazy groups, and if it's me and my family and I've been doxed at left and right because I'm a member of the NRA, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take another option of traveling and keep my family safe.
It's also schedules, guys. I mean, jumping from one commercial plane to another on the schedule that Wayne LaPiere kept at times was darn near impossible.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, can you imagine Trump having to do that if he didn't have his own plane? He couldn't do that. What are they going to go after the Trump organization? Because he's taking liberties of the company money. Well, it's his company, but
Right. His
I
money.
can see him doing this. And then you look at they're accusing him of the charitable donations. I know at one time when I was reading the beginning of that case, they were actually targeting the NRA Foundation, which is where Friends of NRA was at. And I can tell you for a fact, he wasn't spending NRA Foundation money. That stuff was accounted for down to the penny by the gal that overseen it all. And there was nothing being fudged out of that. Even my salary at that time did not come from the foundation. It came from the 501c4, which was the actual National Rifle Association. So, for them to accuse him of the charitable stuff, and I know what they're talking about because only the 501c3 is a charitable and it was the foundation. He didn't even have access to that money. They got a separate board for that, which is not mentioned in any of the media.
I remember how hard it was with all, the 10, 12, I was doing banquets and Vance was doing banquets. And at the end of the night, and all the dotting the I's and crossing the T's, and all these forms have to be filled and everything has to be down to the penny, like you said, and it has to be accounted for going to where it's going and deposits and everything. I mean, there was redundancies on that. And that's the way the foundation has to be, and that's the way it was. So yeah, for them to bring the foundation into that was completely wrong.
And not only that foundation particularly, because it was NRA, so they were being watched and scrutinized by. I mean, the IRS audited it. They audited the foundation as well as the NRA. They gave them an office because they kind of had to. They camped out for 3 years, going through and combing through everything the NRA had. And you know what they found? Nothing. Little minor things that anybody could have done. Nothing. So, yeah. There's more to this. The media is making a big thing. I'm glad that Wayne stepped down. It was time for him to step down. Who's going to replace him? I don't know. I'd love to see Chris Cox come back, but
Yeah.
I don't think Chris is going to do that. I really don't. Dan puts in there, he goes, section 62.1-02-04 of the North Dakota Century Code deals with carrying in bars and restaurants. So thank you, Dan. We'll definitely have to get in there and check all that out, because this is something we should know exactly what goes on with carrying in North Dakota. And I can tell you right now, I'm not familiar with everything either. I've been too far removed from it for too many years
Right.
now. Josh, thanks for coming. He says he's got to run, catch the rest on the replays. So thanks for tuning in tonight. Well, I guess that's all I'm going to do about the NRA, because I don't have all the details, nor does anybody till it's all released. A lot of this media crap, I read it and it's like, really? And then some of the writers that are even supposed to be on our side from AMOLAND, they hate the NRA. I do like the 4 reform candidates that are running for the board. I agree. I think the board should be smaller. I think that that board is huge. You can't get nothing done with a board that big. And I think it needs to be reduced myself.
Well, I do know that in the current issue of the Rifleman coming out, that they have the full rundown of those 4 candidates in there. And also how lifetime members and I think 5-year standing and above members of the NRA have votes. So,
Yes.
I mean, take that opportunity to read through that in your Rifleman, and you can look at it online as well. And see it, and take the initiative to vote. If you got something to say about any of those candidates, I mean, that's the thing. We talk about voting is so important. Well, this is your opportunity to have a say for the NRA.
Oh, absolutely. I voted. Well, life members and above can vote, and 5-year members can vote. So I've been voting a long time. And I do. I take the time and I read each candidate. I don't necessarily vote for the board recommended ones. There's always a list of candidates put forth from the board as recommendations. Well, to me, that's a red flag right there. I don't necessarily trust the board. You know what? I want to see someone who's going to represent the membership. And I have voted for a lot of members that are running that did not meet the recommendation of the board. And I felt they were the best candidates. Some have won, some have not. Hell, I've had people ask if I'm going to ever run and get the signatures. No, I have no plans to do that right now. So I got enough things going on.
Yeah.
Because that's all at your own expense and on your own time. It really is. It's not a paid position, and it's a lot of travel. So I'm really not interested in being on that board at the moment.
Well, I mean, we look at the friends of the NRA and the foundation side of that, and we see long-term 30-year committees that have been raising money for shooting sports and hunt safe programs and all this stuff for all these years, hanging up now because there's just a lot of chaos in behind the scenes, and so it's not as easy. And a lot of it is, some of it is internal and some of it is outside external factors in there. And a lot of it is that people don't understand, especially people that do shoot and that are Second Amendment supporters, don't understand, like the Friends of the NRA and groups like that were the ones that were supporting all this. The money doesn't come from your memberships for the NRA.
No.
I don't know how many times I had that conversation. I know you did as well, and everybody else. But that was what we were doing. We were raising money on that side for all these shooting, programs all across the country, and
completely non-political. It was a foundation event, and I mean, you think about in the Dakotas, between North and South Dakota. The last 2 years I was there, we had over $500,000 to spend between the two states. Think about that.
Yeah,
and that was after our half, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean. You really think about that, what we had going on in the Dakotas back then, and I was really hoping that something had been built bigger than just what I was doing and with my team and my volunteers. But they brought the wrong people in after me, and it fell apart. It really did. And now there's nothing. Yeah. Now there's nothing. There's a couple banquets in South Dakota
too. The program itself is really unfortunately taking a hit.
I'm very disappointed. I know that if I went back in, I know I could rebuild it, but I know it would take. And I'm not going to go into a lot of details, but I can tell you that it'll be a bigger area. because it'll be more than just North and South Dakota. So, I'm not interested in that either at the moment, unless it was a great big number. I wouldn't do it for what I was doing it for before.
Because it's a great program. The banquets themselves are a great time. They raise money, like you guys were saying, for great programs.
Absolutely.
And
I met so many good people. I met so many good people hunt programs all across the states that are sitting there just trying to do the very best they can for their community, and they were looking for help. And this is what we were doing, and they put on banquets, and we made it work.
I mean, you and me, Mike, that's how we met. Mike and Mitchell, and we needed a projector, and they called Mike, and he had one. He brought one down, and we made it work for a Pat Charlton Heston video. Vance I met before that, but then he became a great volunteer within the program. Dan Brown, another great volunteer that listens to the show quite often, was a chairman in Dickinson for a very, very long time and did a hell of a job. Grew that banquet into a high caliber club. I mean, you look at how we grew these banquets. It was because of the people. It wasn't me. Yeah, I helped facilitate it, but we had a hell of a team. We had the greatest volunteers I bet that we've ever had in the Dakotas. And I think that's what was overlooked after the new person came in. They just had no experience with that. And it showed.
About that. We've talked about that before, where you can't take a government worker and put them in a fundraising situation because they don't know how to make money.
And probably a game warden who has, let's face it, the game wardens are game wardens for a reason, and probably not the right personality. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to run him down so much other than fact he was the wrong person for the job. But even when I started out, I had a pretty rough edge, and I'm sure Dan and everybody else can attest to that. But we learned and we grew. And we really had a hell of a team. I really felt we had one of the best teams in the program, and it showed in the numbers. When I'd go out every winter to those big meetings, North and South Dakota, we're up there in the top 10. Think about that, the top 10. So I felt
with
really
our population.
Good yes,
very low population states in the top 10. That's great.
I thought it was. I was never below 10. And neither was our two states. And I'd always, I'd get asked, "Oh, how you doing that out there?" I said, "It's the people. It's the volunteers, guys." I said, "This program don't work without great volunteers."
Yeah,
and that was true.
Well,
certainly, there's still some good ones out there.
What's that, Mike?
You had a group that was like the A team. Vance had his strengths in there, and all the different hunt groups and all that he knew, and on his strengths. My strengths were in radio, but also, it was hard at the initial part to get you to look at the how we structured and set up things at the banquets. It was a little sometimes much for you, but you came around to that as well, because we set up things presentable. It's all that first image when you walk in, and instead of just things laying out on a table, and we changed the culture.
I'll be the first to admit that Mike was the one that really. When we used to do our setups, I'm a guy, right? I don't give a shit what things look like. But I can tell you, Mike did. And Mike started doing that presentation. And when you looked at that live auction, it's like, wow. It's just like I didn't wear a coat and tie at first, but I went to a banquet in Minot, and I had a couple come up to me saying, wow, this is one of the classiest banquets we've been to. And we knew who was in charge. We knew who you were. You stood out in the crowd, and I was like, I guess I better wear a coat and tie. And I did that after that. Remember that? Had my hat, had my boots and my jeans, but I always had that coat and tie. And I took those things and I took them to heart. I really did. And that's why probably we had such a great banquet everywhere. And it was pretty much replicated.
We were
Jesse, Scotty, Misty. I mean, we had a
team
bunch. We had a great bunch.
Yeah, we did. We really
did. Mean, Misty could sell ice to an Eskimo. I mean, she was good. And so, you just nonstop. We were a good team.
The best thing about her being our ticket seller is it was the same everywhere, even though I had a lot of pushback by a lot of committees, because she was a paid employee. Let's face it, that's what she was. But she was an NRA member, she was a hunter, and she was a shooter. And by having the same person there 23 times a year across the two states, think about that.
Yep.
She knew that merchandise. She knew how to present that merchandise, the guns, and even in the live auctions, the other merchandise.
And she talked to you about hunting too.
And she could sell. Oh, I watched her sell $1,000 packs like they were candy up in Watford City and Williston and Marmouth. So, and they,
Granted, most of it was to single guys, but still.
Well,
Hey,
that's the
whatever
way it
sells,
goes,
right?
right? Their money spends.
There were some married guys. We just don't mention it.
That's right. I mean, it was a great team, a lot of fun. Greg was involved in that. He went to just about every event. Same, Misty went to darn near every event. Mike, you went to a ton of them in East River. You even came over to Rapid and did a lot of work. Vance, you went. I mean, I can't tell you how many guys. Will went to a bunch of them. I know I'm leaving people out, but we had a lot of people. Scott Buckmeyer, and now Scotty's an auctioneer. You know what I'd be doing now? He'd be my auctioneer at every event.
Yeah.
And a good auctioneer makes a hell of a difference too.
And we
Scotty
talked about that. We had
Jesse
we had
worked a
couple
great
of-
team together.
Oh,
They
yeah.
did.
Scotty
They had
and
that.
Jesse, that sarcastic comedy thing going on. They were a trip. They got people into it.
They
And
did. They were like their
one
own
of the good things
comedy team.
about them as well is that every year that they were at an event, they recognized the guys that were there the years before,
Yes,
and they
they
knew their names. They didn't have to, learn new stuff. They were calling out, and those guys and gals all felt like they were part of a big organization.
Absolutely. And I kept pushing NRA to let me hire full-time people to go with me on these things, and they just kept rejecting it. I'm telling you, you guys let us hire auctioneers, you let us hire ticket gals. It's going to be the same result if we can bring people like that to every event. And they're going to, like I said, they're going to recognize when you're working that crowd for an auction, you know who your buyers are, and they'd go work them. And it was a lot of fun. It was a ton of fun. I
miss the banquets, and I wish there was some around here that I could go to now.
Yep.
Some states, I know Liz is doing still doing.
Liz does a great job. Josh does a great job in Indiana.
Yeah.
Rack's team and Adventure. It's just kind of. I miss them days at points. I do not miss the travel, and I do not miss the bureaucracy above me. I'll tell you what. Let's go take a quick break. We'll come back. We're going to wrap this up. I have a happy ending of the week this time, but
Awesome.
we'll wrap up on this, and then we'll go into that. So
sounds good.
hang with us, everybody. I see numbers are dropping off, and that's because we're getting about an hour 20. So.
There we go.
Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Discover the world of firearms at Bismarck's Double H Gun Shop. With a wide range of products from handguns to rifles, we cater to all your shooting needs. We are your local gun experts. Not only do we sell firearms, reloading supplies, targets, and whatever your heart desires, but we also have a ton of knowledge and answers.
We shoot, we hunt, we compete, we reload.
It's been the Howard's way since 1976, and we ain't fixing to change anything. Visit our website at hhgunshop.com to browse our inventory. Double H Gun Shop, Bismarck's best new and used firearm reloading supply, gunsmithing, and sporting goods store. Double H Guns.
Double H Guns.
1021 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota. Call 701-223-4888.
All right, I hit the wrong one, but that's okay. Double H got another ad tonight.
There we
Go
go.
check out those guys at Double H. If you go in there, tell them you heard it on Guns in the 701. Like Mike, you got a little ammo there. Hard to get ammo, so we found him some. And, of course, Lauer Auto Repair. Go in there, see Axe, and tell them, hey, I heard it right here on Guns in the 701, and let them know that you love the fact that they're sponsoring this show.
He works on domestic, also foreign, and any kind of swamp.
And
buggy.
swamp buggies. Swamp buggies. So in fact, right here, there it is. There's the swamp buggy with the whole team in front of it, guys. So, you know, you got to notice Corey and Erica right down there laid out like the sexy men they are, right?
There you go.
By the way, Jay's machine there is awesome. It needs a little turbocharge though. That's what I
They
think.
got him 2 hogs.
They did
It
2
was-
hogs.
Yeah.
They worked all week on that for him, so that was
Yeah.
a pretty cool thing. Yeah, absolutely. Well, as long as we're doing that, here's a wild hog being prepped for the smoker. It was
Yep,
damn
that's the one
good.
we ate. Yeah.
Right there, skinning one out. There's Jay doing the job right there. Right there he is. That's a good picture of him. It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Here's Chris. They were doing a little fishing, him and Corey. So
Yeah.
just kind of
That's where
now
they
I'm
caught
showing you
crabs.
this. This is a picture that Chris Hawk sent to me. And this shows what can happen when a hog gets a hold of you. Look at that guy's, I think that's his arm, I think. Or maybe it's his leg.
I have
Looks like a
seen
thing.
worse in person, actually, in the Everglades as a kid.
Here's a couple hogs right there that were taken. So, I mean,
Jay,
guys, we had one heck of a good time down there. A lot of
Yeah.
hogs were taken, and I just can't say enough about how much fun it was. I really can't.
Yep.
There's one other picture if it'll load here. We'll see it. I thought it loaded before. Yeah, here it comes. This is that same guy that got. There's his face.
Ooh.
Look at that. Wasn't them hogs can rip you apart.
yeah, they can.
So it's you got to be careful. You really do. So none of that happened to our guys. But. All right. Anything else you guys want to add?
Not that let me see real quick before we go. Just want to remind everybody that if you're in the my listening area, of course, somewhere around, we still have some available for this. I have 5, and so
And a
let me know.
donation. Don't say much else. It's a donation of.
It's a
certain
donation,
price.
so there you go. But
Or a
yeah,
waffle.
but just to let you know, and I think you guys are almost completely out, so we might be drawing for that thing here soon.
Yeah, I gotta sit down and figure out my ticket numbers now. I just haven't had a chance to and see exactly what I have left. I might be out. We'll see. I might. If I do, I maybe got 5 or 10 left.
We got some video of us playing with that down in Florida.
Yeah, I didn't get it loaded. Maybe next week we'll have that up. We're having a lot of fun with it. And then we sold $250 worth then.
Yeah. In fact, we started our campfire last Wednesday at
Yes,
the
we
beginning
did.
of the show with that with a flamethrower.
We did, didn't we? Yeah. Yeah, Dave says that buggy needed work. Yes, it did. So
It sat for
Yeah.
2 years.
it sat for 2 years. Yes, it did. Needs a new carb. We'll make that happen. But we know what we need to do next time when we go down there. But a lot of fun. I'd love it if everybody could go, but that's not really possible. If you get the chance to go, go. I highly recommend it. I really do. But all right, quickly before we go into this, we got Wednesday night, next Wednesday, of course, 6 p.m. Mountain, 7 o'clock Central. We got Mitchell in the morning, though, this Friday. And I think one of the things I want to visit with on there is the South Dakota laws we were talking about. I think we need to mention them, especially when we don't have a session going on. So I think we'll bring those up. And I think we got a Minnesota law we're going to talk about, or one that's being proposed, aren't we, Mike?
Right.
So
And,
tune
yeah.
in there, KFYR 550 AM, right there at 7:15 Mountain, 8:15 Central with Mitchell in the morning, and that's every Friday morning. So tune in. We're going to have some good subjects on there. There you go, Mitchell in the morning, 5:50 AM. I will be on the road again. Go figure. I got to go out to Minnesota. So I will not be broadcasting it live like I've been doing, but you definitely can tune in there and you can catch the iHeart podcast on the KFYR deal. Dave says, just so you guys know, Vance is cooking. You guys will want to stick around. There you go. All right. With that, I have an actual happy ending of the week. So let's, with no more ado, let's play the intro and we'll get into it. All right. Happy ending. We haven't had one of these for a while. So I like this one. The guys, I don't know where he's pled, how he's pled yet, but man allegedly posed as a minor online to meet a child predator, then fatally shot him.
Yep.
So I love this. It's a Texas guy. His name is James Spencer. He's accused of posing as a minor to lure Sean Connery Showers, basically to his death, essentially. The Houston Police Department, they basically made the arrest, James Spencer III, of shooting and killing victim Sean Connery Showers, 37. Sounds like the Showers approached the vehicle in the early morning hours of May 29th, and then he was shot by the suspect, who at the time was unidentified. With further investigation, the police arrested Spencer, who they claimed admitted to the killing. So
There you go.
he had a plan. This is probably first-degree murder at its finest, right? But I
Right.
don't think it's murder. I like what happened here. Showers was found in a ditch with multiple gunshot wounds. Excuse me, guys. So Spencer actually, he claimed to be a minor online, lured this guy in as a guy's a sex. So this guy is a convicted child porn
Rapist.
guy. Yeah. He pled guilty to Showers. He pled guilty to possessing child sex abuse material in 2009. Federal authorities said at that time, then Showers was sentenced to 30 months in prison and then 2 more years in 2019 for failing to register as a sex offender per the law.
Right.
So the guy's a repeated offender, didn't register as a sex offender, and then
Still
thinks
doing
he's
it.
going to meet another kid so he can abuse them as well. I mean, I think he got what he's coming. Excuse me. This is killing me. So
Sorry.
anyway, Spencer set up the meeting. He knew exactly where Showers was going to be, and he shot him. Now, basically, the police department, they said, "Oh, you shouldn't be the judge, jury, and executioner." I disagree. I think a child molester like that got exactly what he had coming. He was a repeat offender. He actually had intent to do it again. And by Mr. Spencer meeting this guy and taking care of it, we have a happy ending because that guy now is dead, Mr. Showers is, and can no longer molest kids. At the time of this, it's not clear what the plea was. I did do a little looking around. I can't find anything about what he pled or how it come out, but that's my happy ending of the week.
I hope it's time served and that's it.
Right.
You know, that should be what it was. I mean, the
Absolutely.
guy took out one of our worst things we have in the United States is a child predator, and he took him out. So I mean,
Absolutely.
And how many of
there's
them
a
are
lot of
coming
bleeding
across
heart
the
stuff
border
out
every
there,
day?
but
What was that?
How many of them are coming across the border every day?
More than we know. More than we know. It's kind of sad, really. And we know it's happening. We absolutely know it's happening.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
well, he got what he deserved.
got what he's deserved, and that's my happy ending. Why don't you take us out again with what we're doing this week and next week, Mike?
What we're doing this week and next week.
Well,
what are we doing?
On Friday.
Oh, Friday. Of course, Mitchell in the morning. We'll be on KFYR. Don't forget. I was like, did you surprise me with something? I said, don't forget, we'll be on KFYR coming up. That would be 8 or 9 o'clock your time, right?
No, it'd be 7:15 in the morning, my time, Mountain Time.
7:15 in the morning your time. Sorry about that. We're all clicking buttons. 7:15 in the morning Mountain Time. Will be 8:15 Central Time. And we'll be on there until about 8:45. We got a little break at the bottom of the hour. We'll talk about some of the things going into the weekend, about what's going on Second Amendment wise, both in 701 and down here in the 605. And if you've noticed, by the way, on the names here, they've got Mike Token in here now. That's Mitchell in the morning. He gave me that name.
He named you.
Since I'm a 605 guy, he's going to say I'm the Token 701. So there we go. So
Well, I'm all the way down in Georgia. What am I, a dollar bill?
I don't know.
like I said earlier, you're our southern cousin.
Well, and we did avoid going through Georgia this trip, and there's a reason why. So we skirted it. All right. Well, guys, you can check everything out. I got to get the website updated. I have been on the road for the last 3 weeks, different things going on. So I have done no update. I'm going to have to show Mike how to do that. It's really
you're
easy.
going to have to sooner or later.
But I'll get things uploaded, get them on there. We will have the podcast up and running. So you can check us out at iHeart or wherever you get your podcasts. Just look for Guns in the 701. Hit the website, gunsinthe701.com. You can email us at guns@gunsinthe701.com and ask us anything. If you want to do sponsorships, got questions, want us to give us a topic. Maybe we can check it out for you. So again, everybody, I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. I have to apologize for my voice. I'm not under the weather. I just can't talk very good. Like I said, my wife thinks that's a blessing. Probably a lot of other people. But
There you go.
anything else you want to add, guys?
We're all good.
All good.
All right. Well, we'll see everybody Friday morning, 7:15 Mountain, 8:15 Central on KFYR 550 AM radio. And, of course, you can catch everything every Wednesday night, Guns in the 701, right here where you're listening tonight, or you can catch the replays on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcast. With that, Guys, keep your powder dry. Stay safe. Go out and get some hunting done. Do some reloading and do some shooting. Take a kid hunting too, or shooting. Best thing you could ever do. See everybody next week.
God bless.